In this video, I would like us to talk about many-to-many relationships. Let us go ahead and see what it is that we are going to work on as we sort of investigate and see how we can be able to set up many-to-many relationships in our Laravel application. Consider an example where you have a student model and you also have the course model. And a student can belong to many courses, and each course also has many students. So in this case, when you look at it, that kind of a relationship is a many-to-many relationship. And so I have created the course model, the student model, and I've also created the migration. So let me just show you what I have in the migration. So we have first of all, the course factory. So course factory, I'm only generating the name. Of course, you will find that if you have the course table, you will require maybe a little bit more than what I'm having here. But just for the sake of making things simplified, that's the reason why we are having it like that. Then the student factory, I'm just having a name and email. And then after that, we can be able to look at the migrations. We have the student migration. I'm also just having name and email, and then for the courses we are just having name. So that is the only thing that we are having there. So let us go ahead and write the relationship. So I will go to the course model, and here I'm going to have public function students. And then here we will have the return type of belongs to many, like that. Then we will write return this belongs to many student class. The same thing I want us to have, and it's okay for us to ensure that we have also imported the belongs to many relations above here. And inside the student model, I would like to just copy what we have here. So I'll just copy and paste, and this one now I will change to courses, like that. And this one we will import the belongs to many relations above here, and then this will be belongs to many course, not student, so course class. So on our relationships, we are set. So I want us to go ahead and maybe run the DB seeder, but inside here, I've not been able to create the students and the courses. So in this case, what I'm going to have here is a course, and then we are going to have course factory. Maybe we can say we want 20 courses. Create. I would just like to copy this one more time and have student, like that. And then we can be able to import course, and we can also be able to import the student model above here. So we have the student model and we have the course model imported above here. So basically I can go ahead and run migrations and seed. So I will run PHP artisan migrate fresh, and then I will also run the seeder, and everything runs fine. But we will still need to do a modification, because whenever you're working with many-to-many relationships, you must have a pivot table that you'll be able to relate the two relations in this case. So I would like us to do an addition on top of the user, the courses table, and the students table. I would like us to add one more table. And where I want to add it, we can add it as a separate migration, which is okay. But I can also just copy whatever it is that we have here, and then have another schema below here. So we just maybe copy, and below here maybe I can have another table here, which now will be our pivot table, and I'm going to call it course underscore student. And if you look at it clearly, we have the courses table, so course, and then we also have the in this case the students table, so course student. And basically you can write it beginning with sort of like with an alphabetical sort of order like that. And then here you will have the ID of the table, and then here the next thing you will have is the foreign ID for the foreign ID for students. So we can begin with course ID, and then we can go ahead and have foreign ID, student ID underscore ID. Obviously, you can have more fields if it is very necessary, but under the circumstances, this is good enough, whatever it is that you need to do. I have seen that we have issues with our migrations. Not everything has run in accordance to how we wanted it to be. And we have, in a student factory, we are having an error there. So let me just go back and see what problem we have. So I will open the student factory, and this fake. We are not even supposed to begin with that. I think we just do fake name and fake email. I believe so. I think that is what we did for all the others. Yes. So the student factory, I will use safe, and then I also need to check the course factory, because those ones, the course factory is also okay. So I am going to also run the migrations afresh, but let me go back to our course migration, because we were doing something there. On the app schema, we have the courses and we have course student. Then on the one for dropping, I think we will still just copy this and paste it below here, and say now we can use this to drop course underscore student like that. So basically that will be able to handle the two scenarios. So what I'm going to do is to run the migration again. Now the migrations have been run, so we are just doing the seeding. And I believe everything will be fine as it finishes doing what it is that is happening here. So I'll give it some minute for it to finish seeding, such that once we begin working on it, you'll be sure to have everything working perfectly. Our migrations have run successfully, but remember, we just created the students and we created the courses. There is no student who has any course, and there is no course that maybe has students. So basically, we can go ahead and see how we can be able to do the attaching of that. So I will open our web.php, because that is where we have been using to do our thing. So the first thing that I would like us to do is to get a student, then see if we can be able to attach a course to this student. So I'm going to have student will be the student model. Find, we can just find the student with an ID of 1. Then ensure that we have imported the student model above. No. Student model. Yes, it is imported. Then after that, if we want to create now to attach, or in other words, to add a course to a student, or in other words, to create some data inside our pivot table to relate and add a student to a course, we can be able to just say student and then courses, the way we have stated it in our relationship. And then we can say attach. Then after doing that, we can pass in our course ID. So in this case, I'll just pass in an ID, because I know we have several courses beginning with an ID of 1, and we created, I think, 20 courses and 20 students, so something of that sort. Then once we are there, this will be able to attach a course to this specific student. So let me just refresh and see what happens. And we are returning the view because I am not maybe dumping. But I want us to check and see if we can be able to have the courses for this specific student. So let me just do dd and say student courses, like that, and see if we are going to have one course, in this case a course with an ID of 1 attached to this specific student. So if I'm to refresh, now you can see we have an array, and if we open it, now we can find that we have attributes, and you can see we have a name of a course that has been added for this specific student that we have. Because in our student model, we were having only 2 columns. So in this case, name and email, but this one is only name, so it means it's actually coming from the other relationship that we are having. I want us to check for a student whose ID is 2. For a student whose ID is 2, obviously this student does not have a course. So I want us to refresh and see, because you can see it is giving us an empty array. So meaning this student does not have any course attached to them. So basically that is how you can check. Now, if we want to attach more than one course, we can be able to pass in the IDs as an array. So for example, for student number 2, I want us to attach 5 courses. So what I'm going to do, I will just put the square brackets and have 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and maybe even 5. And then I want us to attach these courses to the student and check how many courses this student has. So what I'm going to do to effect that is just to refresh here. And now you can see we are having 5 of them. And so we have the first course that is attached to this student is that. And the second course, again, is this one with a different name. And then the third course is also attached, and so on and so forth. So basically, that is how we can be able to attach the courses in mass. And we can also go ahead and maybe detach. So in this case, if we want, for these users, for this specific student, we're having 5 courses. And maybe if we want to remove some of the courses, we can be able to use the detach method. So let me just type it in here, and we say student, because already this student has all those courses. And I want us to detach course number 5. So student, we can say is equals to student, not the model, student courses. So student, maybe we can just pick it directly, student courses, and then instead now of attach, we can say detach, and then we pass in the ID of the course we want to detach. So in this case, I want us to detach course number 5. Already currently we saw that this student was having 5 courses, so the number must reduce now to 4 in accordance to what we are having. So if I am to refresh to effect the changes, now you can see we are having an array of 4 values. So basically that is what you can do, and you can also pass these values that you want to detach as an array. So several courses you can be able to detach from this specific student, and by doing so you will have removed those courses from that specific student, and you will not be associated in that relationship anymore. Sometimes you may want to detach all existing courses and attach new ones. So in this case, you can be able to use sync. So let me just type it in and show you what we can do when we want to do that. So we can say student model, and then we can maybe say courses, that, and then we can say sync. When we sync, we can be able to pass in an array of values. So in this case, we can say course number 7, number 8, number 9, like that. And so what this would do is that it will remove the existing courses, which is 1 up to 4, and it will include new courses, which will be 7 up to 9, the IDs of those courses, basically. So I want us to refresh and see what happens. So we will refresh. Now you can see we are having only 3 courses. And if you check keenly, the ID of these courses has changed. This one is ID number 7. If you check the others, it will be 8, 9, and 10, like that. So that is that. Sometimes you may want to include an additional column. And this one, probably we can, maybe we can be able to try it out and see. So for example, if you go to your pivot and you attach maybe the date of enrollment or something of that sort. For example, if we go to our model and we go to the course model, and then after passing in, maybe we can do it in the student class. After passing in our courses, we can be able to add some additional values. So for example, the timestamps, or we can be able to just add with pivot, and add something here. So for example, we can add something like grade or something of that sort, or maybe minimum grade or something, whatever it is that you want. And maybe we can just have enrolled underscore at, like that. So this will be a date effectively. And after doing that, we can be able to go ahead and see how to effect this. So we will go back to our model, our migration. So the database migrations, and go to our pivot. So our pivot is actually in courses table. And inside here, apart from having the 2 foreign IDs, we can be able also to have another column that we call enrolled at. So table, this will be a date, maybe date time, and the name is enrolled at underscore at, like that. And so because we have already set it in our students table in the model relationship, we can be able to have it like that. So what I want us to do is to refresh our database and see it again, such that those changes will be captured in our tables. After that, now if we go back to our web.php where we were setting the values, now we need to ensure that anytime we are saving or we are doing something, we are also passing in another value. So if we want to create a course for student number 2, because now every other thing has been removed. For example, if we want to create and pass in an ID of course number 1, then what we are going to do is also ensure that we also, together with that, we pass in an array of the key enrolled at, and then we can be able to pass now, and that we'll be able to pass in the current date. So in this case, the date at which we are adding this student number 2 to the database. Maybe I can change to student number 5 just to have some clarity on what I'm talking about. So again, now if we go and attempt and refresh, and we are having an issue, so course student, we are passing it in here. It seems as if I'm using the wrong thing. It should be attached. Let me check and see. And now you can see that that course has been attached to the specific student in this case. So basically, that is how you can be able to conduct and work with a many-to-many relationship in Laravel. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, consider giving a subscription. And if you have a comment, you can be able to shoot in the comment section below. Thank you very much.